in the Unitas National Forest of northern Utah is Christmas Meadows, a large, picturesque valley of camping sites and hiking trails. It's in this remote spot the golf course Unitas Meadows was conceived. On the surface, Unitas Meadows is a laid-back affair. The rustic log cabin clubhouse and dirt road leading up are pretty unassuming, but under the loose and casual feel, Unitas does contain some strategy. To those who don't pay attention, you can find trouble pretty easily. Basically, the course itself can be gentle if you respect it. Those who lack respect will find out. Unitas Meadows does not fuck around. This is every fucking hole at Unitas Meadows. It has been said the first hole should be like an opening paragraph of a novel that offers a preview of the course as a whole. Off the first tee, the golfer is introduced to the main natural element of the course in Bear River, cutting diagonally across in front of the fairway. With the drive, the best line for the short par 5 is to hug the bear, if you will, and cut off as much of the river while remaining in the fairway along the left side. The preferred approach to the green is hitting it just over the front left mound, which acts as an aiming point to the best way to feed balls onto the sloping green. Those two chicken shit bail out to the right, facing a partially to fully blocked view of the green behind the grassy hill and a pinched angle to the preferred landing spot when going for the green. Though not too much of a filthy bastard, the first hole does suggest the important motifs of the course in angles and deciding when to take on the risk. In Unitas, there are two sets of long tees that present different angles on replays, as well as a front tee for those old fucks that play hickories. The member gold tees on hole 2 have a slightly nervy left-to-right shot, but it's the champion blue tees that offer an outright damn intimidating shot. The green itself is a tilted tabletop, just peeking out above a sea of grass and wave of bunkers. It falls slightly away from you, meaning you have to take on the front bunker if you're going for the birdie and let the ball roll to the hole. The golfer must choose their distance and trust the shit out of it. There always is the center of the green, but with the slope, you will probably be left with quite an asshole of a second putt that won't be a cakewalk to 2-putt for par. Hole 3 is a waltz with the ridge. Up in the forested base of the hills that enclose the west side of the valley the course is in. The preferred angle into this green is from the right, but the fairway camber and steep drop on the right make this a shot of great testicular fortitude to hit. For those wanting to leave the tough decisions for future you, the left fairway is offered as a wide-open landing zone, but future you may be pretty angry with present you when they see the shot that they're left with. The difficult approach from here is hitting over a row of bunkers flanking the left of the green, one that is sloping away from you, with chipping hollows waiting to play hungry hippos with any balls that gain too much momentum rolling down the green. After the tree-lined pathway from the third green, you see a vast open sight down the fourth fairway. Bear Creek is eagerly sitting at the base like a begging dog at the dinner table. With the downhill nature of the shot towards the creek, driver Formosa is taking out a hand in anything but strong headwind. On the other side of the river, the camber switches from right to left, making a cradled green that's best approached from the left. The green itself is a simple yet effective green with a gradual slope down to the front left, a steep false front, and a subtle yet kinda evil mound in the center similar to something you would see on a Perry Maxwell green. This slow fucker affects every pin, meaning hitting on the correct side of it is vital. As you get off the fourth green, behind it you see the Mini Meadows pitch and putt, an 18-hole course of adorable miniature pitch and putt renditions of template holes. Look at that mini maiden green, just cute as a fucking button. But while walking through the mini course, from the fourth green to the fifth tee, the golfer can't get distracted, or the mother course will show off their potent bitch slap. Unitas Meadows is not a template course, but While being constructed, some of the holes would take on notable characteristics of template holes. For instance, hole 5 has hints of a redan. This mid to long par 3 has a kicker slope on the left side that feeds balls down the descending green to the right. How high up the slope is up to the golfer to decide depending on pin location. Trust me, you don't want to be in those bunkers short right. They straight suck asshole. For such a small par 4, the 6th hole can sure be an intimidating little shit. The fairway is diagonally bisected by a tributary. Most can carry this tributary with the downhill nature of the hole from the tee, but really where you want to be is based on the pin location on this plateau green. Getting on the lower right portion of the fairway past the stream makes hitting the bottom right tier of the green much less of a dick shrinking proposition than from the left short of the stream, while pins on the top left tier have a little more room for air from a 3-wood down the left side of the fairway off the tee. Deal with the shits now or kick the can down the road is the question on the 7th hole. With the green hugging the right side of the river, the safer way to approach the green in 2 is from the right, but this involves carry over the river to a tight landing zone. You have all the room in the world on the left side of the fairway, but then you're either laying up like a little bitch or challenging the water like an insane person on the approach. The distance from the 8th tee to the green looks like it's a mile, and for good measure, this bitch of a hole is the longest on the course. Attacking the 8th is like trying to mount and exert dominance over an elephant. Hitting right off the tee cuts off some distance, but leads to a heavily sloped lie and a much more difficult approach. Hitting left off the tee requires 2 fucking monster hits to even have a chance of getting an eagle putt. The perch green itself is a bit of a knoll, with deep, chipping hollows surrounding it that are about as fun hitting out of as getting kicked in the testicles repeatedly. For most, there is a layup 100 yards out, but still a very skilled shot to this wavy green is required to make a birdie. Bunkerless, waterless, yet 0 fucks given. If I would describe hole 9, it would be, it's a trap! Driver is teased around or over the mound, puncturing the fairway, leaving you directly below the raised double plateau green, while holding the uphill pitch from there is quite a bitch in itself. For most pin positions, the not dumb fuck spot is layup short of the mound, which gives a straight shot down the throat of the green with a bit more margin for cock-ups. While at the turn, make a pit stop in the log deck, grab a beer on tap, and enjoy the view. Sorry, only 5% alcohol level or below. This is fucking Utah after all. From the 10th tee, you're assaulted with a gorgeous view overlooking the entire course. Once the blood recirculates from your groin, you realize you're also tasked with quite a tough little flip wedge shot on this short par 3. With the lower tier of the green pinching the upper pins, distance control is a premium. You're given all the room you want to venture left or right, but to be on the same tier as the pin, you gotta know your distance accurately. The further back the pins, the more forgiving the shot. The 2-tiered makeup of the short par 4-11 is sort of an evil twin to hole 9. The green is sectioned off below the main fairway, presenting quite a cock tease of a drivable par 4. There's a couple bumps along the right side of the green that can funnel balls to the pin, but too much momentum and you roll down the steep slope and are left with the uphill pitch shot sure to cause some dick pain. You can always take the above fairway to the right, safely, but are left with a severely downhill pitch over bunkers that needs to stop before rolling too far and into Devil's Taint, the chipped hollow below. Hole 12 is either a hole that can cause some great euphoria or some irritating chafing. This long par 3 demands use of the ground game. those who like the aerial might not enjoy this hole. With a prominent center ridge breaking up the green in two sections, to get the ball close to the hole, you gotta take on the front bunkers and use the kicker slopes provided behind them to guide the balls. The two right pins are in a bit of funnel, while the two left pins are in a more flatter area of the green, but there's steep fall off far and left that you want to try to stop before your ball gets to, or else it's bye. This long par 4 begs the question of go for the approach angle or go where your drive will be the safest from danger. The 13th fairway is sliced and diced with bunkers, a tributary, and the Bear all along the left. The Lion's Mouth green creates a green with two sections for angles from the right to right pins or the left for the left pins. The right section of the fairway is pinched by the tributary and bunkers, fitting since these pins are a bit more gettable. The left fairway is much wider, but getting the best angle to the left pins really means hugging the river, something that can make anybody's butthole cramp. One of the most charming characteristics of Eunice's Meadows is the natural feel of the routing. The course wasn't brought here, it was discovered. The green sites were found on this wavy plot, and minimal land movement was used on the playable surfaces. One of these natural green sites to admire is the amphitheater green of hole 14. The drive on this mid-length par 5 is a tight one with two staggered large bunkers to navigate. To counterbalance the tight drive is probably one of the most forgiving approaches on the course, though one partially to fully blind for most pins. When the pin isn't on the front tier, the play is to hit over the mound and let the balls funnel towards the holes in the large bowl, making up 3/4 of the green. Just be careful. Shots that venture too right can end up in those row of bunkers looking to pull you in by the urethra. Hole 15 is another hole begging you to flirt with the water for a better angle or club down for a safer shot. The tight dogleg meeting the river makes a full nutted tee shot out of the question for almost anyone besides in the headwind. Most will club down the 3-wood, but then that brings the fairway bunkers into play. The green is a cascading slippery fucker that rolls downwards to the river. For those with too much testosterone or steroids in their system, there is a Bruce Banner fuck everything aggressive option of bombing driver over the left fairway bunker for the shortest approach. Holding the fairway after doing that is a feat I myself have yet to see accomplished.
That wasn't
Challenge accepted.
Every course can use a good option hole, and that's what 16 is meant to be for Unitas. The hole wraps around the large overgrown field between the 16th and 17th. The wide and treacherous green promotes different sides of the fairway based on the pin location, and many ways for you to castrate yourself. There's one central bunker that creates many scenarios off the drive. Go left or right of the bunker without rolling into the fields. Take 3-wood left or right over the short bunker while missing the central bunker. And as stated, the green itself is quite a mingy bastard with some tight landing zones that roll off in unpredictable ways, requiring a skilled pitch or accurate full wedge. The long, downhill winding par 5 that is hole 17 is a thrilling and colon-constricting climax in the round. The tee shot is steep downhill along the ridgeline. That makes this a reachable par 5 in most winds despite its gaudy yardage. The star of the show is the flip-it green tucked between a grassy mound and hanging along the ledge before dropping into the teeth of the Bear. Going for the green in 2 is a testicle-shrinking connotation. The mound knowingly seems to block a rolling approach from driver landing zone, but the angle to the green actually opens up when you club down a 3-wood off the tee. 3-wood off the tee? That's a thought that makes most players' foreskin crawl, but a good course makes a golfer do something they don't want to do. For those hard-headed, let me hit bombs shits, there are plenty of ample layup zones on either side of the green and the mound to play this hole as a 3-shot par 5. So, are you chasing a score or holding on to a lead? The answer to that may dictate how daring you wish to be. The same question on hole 17 is present on this crescendo to the round. Some say you shouldn't end a course on a par 3. To those people, I say, man, shut the fuck up. On this wedge shot finisher, the golfer is tasked with taking the safe middle or going for the very tucked pins for birdie. With the 3-tiered green, hitting to the fatty upper middle guarantees a dry first shot, but doesn't guarantee even a par. Birdie from there would have to be some magician shit. The pins themselves are all in landing zone that, as my grandpa used to say, are finer than frog hair. So, take on the bear and all the bunkers and stick the landing, or bitch out and hope you can 2-putt. For such a small hole, being the end of the round leads to a lot of tough questions and pants-shitting intimidation. After you finish, you can grab a beer on the deck bar, take it down to the large fire pit, and listen to all the bucks and shits from the 18th tee, or continue your round on the mini pitch and putt. Natural beauty, intriguing strategy, and a round to remember in the northeast corner of Utah at Unitas Meadows.